Pokopia, is it good? We're gonna see if the Pokemon Animal Crossing game is as good as people say. A couple days ago, a bunch of game journalists got access to Pokopia. A bunch of trailers are coming out for this game as it is gonna be coming out on March 5th of 2026. I'm really excited for this. This is gonna be the greatest bridge between Animal Crossing and Pokemon fans we're gonna see in the franchise's history. Let's go take a look and see if Pokopia is actually gonna be a good game.
When Pokopia was announced, most people drew a couple of quick comparative conclusions from its first cutesy trailer. There was much to be said in reaction, but the broad deduction can be efficiently summarized as this: Pokopia is Pokemon's take on Animal Crossing.
I think they're going to dive into here talking about that it's not exactly like Animal Crossing. From some of the videos that I've seen on social media and stuff like that, it does seem like it has kind of like a Minecraft vibe or a Dragon Quest Builders vibe. And we're going to get into this later in the video here, but some of the crafting that you're able to do to be able to get different moves as Ditto is going to be really exciting. For those that don't know, the main character right here is Ditto, but you're a humanoid version of Ditto that used to been with a Pokemon trainer, and you're set in a post-apocalyptic Kanto, and your goal is to kind of recreate Kanto into a much more lively place for Pokemon. And because you're Ditto, you're going to be able to hang out and be able to talk to other Pokemon, which is really cool. As you can see on the bottom right here, we have Rock Smash, and there's a bunch of different moves that you can learn, and how you're able to learn these moves is by making sure that there's habitats habitable for these Pokemon. You're going to bring these Pokemon to your little town, and they're going to allow you to be able to teach you how to use their moves so that you can kind of craft and build your own world and stuff like that.
It quickly transpired, also, that the game shares development staff with Dragon Quest Builders, a Minecraft—
Oh, okay. I did call it that it was Dragon Quest Builders related, but I didn't know that the developers of Dragon Quest Builders also worked on this game. Okay, I see why people are really hyped for this game right now. That is really awesome to hear.
Minecraft-inspired spin-off of another major turn-based Japanese role-playing franchise.
No, I love that Dragon Quest and Pokemon are in technically collabing here. Obviously, there's no Dragon Quest to see here, but gameplay elements of that is awesome to see.
Simple enough then. Pokopia is Pokemon plus
I like the digging
Minecraft
animation.
plus
It's
Animal
literally a
Crossing
drummer.
plus Viva Pinata, one of the best—
I gotta rewind here. What did she say?
Simple enough then. Pokopia is Pokemon plus Minecraft plus Animal Crossing plus Viva Pinata, one of the—
Bro, they just rolled the dice. They're like, we're gonna put a little bit of this game, we're gonna put a little bit of this game, we're gonna put a little bit of this game, roll the dice, and Pokopia, just for you. All right.
one of the best, most criminally underrated games about raising critters ever made.
There you go. It's a good combo, though.
As someone who absolutely adores Viva—
A little disco ball here. Okay, so definitely the Animal Crossing elements here, so we get to be able to craft a bunch of different random objects in this game. I love to see that. And as you can see right here, for those who don't know, this game is going to have some multiplayer. I also seen some footage too, where you can actually game share this game to other friends on the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Nintendo Switch. So you can invite them, you can show them to your world, and you actually can do that locally or wirelessly through the Nintendo Online service. You can do the whole game chat feature where you guys can see each other through webcams and stuff, which is actually really cool.
I actually feel like a bit of an idiot for not clocking the similarity between the two sooner.
We're hanging out. Oh, I completely forgot. So Ditto can transform into different Pokemon, and you can flex to your friends that you unlock Dragonite and flow out, bro. I was not expecting the crowd to be all done. Like, look at these guys. They're all hanging out, having a good time right now. And then look at this guy right here. Later, I'm a Dragonite and I'm flying away. No, I love that. No, that's amazing.
But it was only sitting down and playing around an hour of the game that it really clicked. It's in game flow that the two are most similar. In Pokopia, Pokemon aren't caught in Pokeballs and carried around with you, and nor should they be, given you play a Ditto that has haphazardly attempted to transform into its former owner.
It is kind of crazy that in canon, Ditto can transform to literally everything. And yes, we knew that, but like, you would think there would be some limitation to Ditto to where Ditto can only transform into Pokemon. The fact that Ditto can look like a human is low-key kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie. But for the sake of this game, it's cool that we have different customizability from it.
Instead, it's all about the habitat of the area around you. Each Pokemon in the Pokopia Pokedex will be attracted to appear if certain conditions are met.
Yep.
You'll start off slow, simply creating patches of long grass. Any Pokemon head of any age knows that Pokemon love a bit of long grass. That'll attract your most basic critters, but then,
that's
as
really
you
cool.
want to attract more, the requirements will gradually increase.
So they're keeping it very canon to the original Pokemon games, which I love to see. As we all know, go into the tall grass, boom, we get to find your Rattatas, Pidgeys, the whole 9 yards. So the fact that the basic Pokemon are going to be able to appear like this. And also, if we rewind a little bit here too, we saw that it was a Combee getting showcased here. So Pokopia, even though it's set in a post-apocalyptic Kanto, it's not going to be only restricted to Gen 1 Pokemon, which is also pretty cool.
Gradually increase. Some Pokemon might want to be near bodies of water, or in long grass that
Ooh, I just realized that too. Look at that Horsia statue right here. That looks amazing.
after the natural world. Fighting type Hitmonchan needs a would-be gym, meaning a punching bag or similar, plus a bench to sit at and rest. No grass required.
That is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the logistics here, I need some more Pokemon lore when it comes to why the heck does Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and fighting type Pokemon in general need human-made objects to be able to live in this world. Like, how did these Pokemon spawn to be? Were they like humans that turn into Pokemon? That has happened before in series like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Maybe it's just humans transformed to Pokemon so that Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee were just a thing. But like, lore-wise, it still just doesn't make any sense habitat-wise. And how is Ditto able to make these to attract these Pokemon back from the grass and the wildlife back to the society here? There's a lot of questions that need to get answered.
When Pokemon join the island, a handful of them will also provide you new abilities.
Yep.
Initially, Bulbasaur will teach you Leafage, a move that Ditto can then use to create long grass.
So then you can get your basic Pokemon to show up. That's really cool.
Squirtle will teach you Water Gun,
That makes sense. Oh,
which
that's
can
so
then
cute
be
too.
used
See
to
the little Squirtle
revive
tail and the little
dried
Squirtle
out
shell in the
areas.
back. Oh, that's so cute.
You can imagine how these abilities will grow. And these are your Minecraft-esque
Whoa.
abilities for shaping the world,
Whoa,
be that
that's
adding,
sick.
removing, or
Homie is turning into a Scyther. That is actually menacing, bro. Reminds me of the anime Parasite. Let me know in the comments if you watched that show before.
There are a handful of these in the early stages I played, though it's clear the game will feature many more. Though not as many as there are Pokemon, only some have a new move to bequeath.
Yeah, so we can actually go to this different website that I pulled up right here. So here's a list of every Pokemon we've seen in promotional art, cover art, and in trailers. So we can meet up and interact with all these Pokemon and collect them. I'm gonna guess this game is still gonna have a development to where you're gonna want to capture every single Pokemon and get it into your world, as you do have a Pokedex. So you're gonna be able to build your habitats and make them unique so that each of these Pokemon that we see on the screen right now is gonna exist, but not every Pokemon is gonna teach you a brand new move. So like, for example, if you get something like Porygon here, there's a very low chance that Porygon's gonna teach you a very specific move for Ditto to be able to change the environment. That's not what's gonna happen here. And here's some other Pokemon too that, like, we have Mimikyu, Espeon, Greninja, like so many really cool Pokemon to collect for your Pokédex in quotation marks. But again, the odds of you actually get these Pokemon that teach you new moves is going to be very much not happening. But I do think that since there is multiple water types, multiple, Pokemon that can use like cutting moves and stuff like that, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the things that you can learn or teach yourself as Ditto can overlap. So maybe you can learn how to use Water Gun without getting a Ditto. Maybe you can find a Piplup instead, and Piplup will teach you how to use Water Gun and stuff like that too. So I do think that Pokemon are going to share abilities that they can teach the Ditto, but again, not every single Pokemon here is going to showcase to us what we can get. Also, I don't know if this is true or not, but Cerulean, if it's in this game, yes, please. As some of you guys know, I love Cerulean. Cerulean is my guy.
As well as building up habitats that Pokemon will want to come and live in, the secondary thread is the ruined areas in which you're operating.
It's so crazy to see this Pokemon Center just in ruins. I really hope that there's a good amount of lore that people will be able to find. I'm hoping those lore Pokemon YouTubers talk about this game and talk about how Kanto got into this post-apocalyptic war. Is this a different timeline to where Lieutenant Surge did not survive the Pokemon War? Or is it just something along the lines where, like, hey, maybe Kanto did get cooked. Red dipped out of Kanto and boom, everything's all destroyed. But seeing a just destroyed Pokemon Center like this is so weird.
While the demo gave away no actual detailed answer as to their nature, to my eye, these areas are clearly locations from across the Kanto map of the first generation of Pokemon RPGs.
So, spoiler alert, this is most likely the case, to where, according to leaks and some information that we got from leakers of these games, they did talk about the fact that yes, these are going to be locations for Pokopia where they're going to resemble the cities from Kanto. And later, Pokopia is going to get some DLC that's going to add more cities that we can explore from the Kanto region.
A ruined, almost post-apocalyptic state. How that happened isn't clear, but all the humans are gone and the Pokemon are clearly in hiding, so it's up to you to rebuild. Splashing some water around to turn dead grass into verdant green and to revive ruined trees is one thing, but Beyond that, there are also buildings. In the demo, I have the opportunity to collect the resources to rebuild a Pokemon Center. Rather than directly rebuilding it out of blocks in a Minecraft way, I have to deposit the resources into a chest in front of the ruined building and then assign Pokemon from the friends I have attracted to the nearby area to assist in building.
Dude, wait. No. This is literally Pal World. In Pal World, you capture these cute little creatures that look like Pokemon. You take your pals and you assign them tasks on the materials that you have, and that's how you build your structures. Pokopia is literally copying Pal World. That is one-to-one how Pal World works. Now, I don't mind that gameplay loop. So it's not exactly like Minecraft, because in Minecraft you can break blocks and then place those blocks immediately, but it looks like you can destroy the environment. I've seen gameplays where you can destroy your environment, and again, every one of these little blocks looks like Minecraft, and you can rebuild your stuff how you want to. Basically taking Pal World, Dragon Quest Builders / Minecraft, mixing it together, and then approaching it like Animal Crossing so they get the Animal Crossing fan base. Now, they're cooking here. I like this gameplay loop. This makes me feel like this is parts of the reason why Pal World got sued, because this game has been in development technically for 6 years now. It was originally supposed to be a mobile port, according to leaks. They decided to scrap this. This is way too good of an idea, and especially after the success of Animal Crossing, we got to turn this into an Animal Crossing-like game. And I think because of that, when Pal World released, to where their gameplay loop was, again, extremely similar to a lot of core mechanics of Pokemon, that might be why Pokemon was trying to sue, because they're like, whoa, how does Pal World know that we have stuff like this? This is the exact gameplay loop we're trying to do in our games. Very interesting. But again, hey, we'll take it though. We'll take it. I like the gameplay loop. I like the fact that we can take our Pokemon to build stuff and stuff like that. It's really cool. But no, that's actually criminal that it's exactly like Power World.
All Pokemon are different. Some Pokemon are going to be more suited for building certain structures than others. On top of this, you can place individual blocks, but it seems the building will be a more prefab affair. With this, the delightful and instantly sticky loop of Pokopia is revealed. You'll need to recruit more Pokemon in order to help you restore more of the areas, which in turn is required to progress to unlock the skills or items you need in order to attract even more types of Pokemon.
I still like that gameplay loop. It makes it make sense to complete the Pokédex. So as somebody that's been playing Pokemon for over 20 years now, like one thing I always struggled with Pokemon is having a purpose to complete the Pokédex. I never had any ambition to like, hey, let's complete the Pokédex just to complete the Pokédex. All my goal was in Pokemon was to be the very best like no one ever was. I get my team of 6 and that's what I stick with. But lately, some of the later games recently have been doing a better job of giving the Pokédex a better purpose and a reason to be able to complete. For example, Pokemon Legends ZA, what I really liked about that is that you did the research, the Mabel's research, to be able to get a bunch of benefits out of it. So you get items, TMs, and so on. And then if you complete the Pokédex, you're going to be able to get the Shiny Charm to get better Shiny luck. But what's nice about how the progression is, at first they're like, hey, we're going to first give you a purpose for completing the Pokédex of like, hey, here's all these items you can get. And then by the time that you get to the higher levels of the Pokédex, you might as well complete the Pokédex because you're so close to completing it. So then you can get the final prize of the Shiny Charm. I like that Pokopia is doing the same thing here. You need these Pokemon to be able to build your world. And at the same time, you're going to be able to use your Pokédex to be able to register these Pokemon. So it's like a win-win. The goal is to expand your world, make it a lot better, and get these cool Pokemon. And then doing so, you're going to complete the Pokédex. And it's like, well, if I'm already getting all these creatures and Pokemon to be able to build my island, might as well complete the Pokédex while I'm at it too. So it just works in unison to be able to make it make sense.
Round and round it goes. It's delightfully simple, and it's also immediately satisfying and addictive.
Oh, it's
Although
so
the core
cute
story
being able to
looks
turn
as though
into
it'll hand-hold you
Dragonites
through
and Labrases.
objectives with helpful, chatty Pokemon advising you on what to do next, kid-friendly, in other words, going beyond that feels quite intuitive. You can find little hints in the environment that add Pokedex entries, that give you clues as to what environmental cues are going to be required to get somebody new to spawn, and you can then figure out how to achieve that.
So in this game, the Pokédex is even more important than I initially thought. You need to use it so that you can progress through the game. But like I said, the whole concept of a win-win, you need the Pokédex to understand the Pokemon so you can get more Pokemon into your environment. And while you're at it, you might as well complete it. There's probably going to be a chart of like how many Pokemon there is, and maybe there'll be something on the Pokédex where I'll unlock where it's like, oh snap, you found all the Pokemon left in Kanto. Congratulations.
You'll also want to work at keeping the friends who have already arrived happy. So, one Pokemon might want a toy or some other environmental upgrade near their habitat, which in turn improves their happiness, a measured stat that details just how nice of a home you're maintaining.
By the way, 1-to-1 copy of Power World. In Power World, in your bases that you create, in order to keep the pals productive so they do more building for you, you needed to give them jacuzzis, blankets, beds, the whole 9 yards to keep them happy. This is literally 1-to-1 of Power World, bro. What, this game is just taking concept from Power World at this point.
These things crop up, and so off I go, trotting about this limited starting area, finding resources to use the rudimentary crafting table mechanic, completing challenges listed in the Pokedex.
The Pokedex is extremely important. You can buy stuff within the Pokedex, so that's crazy.
Proving happiness or creating new habitats. Attracting new Pokemon, discovering a new habitat hint and getting excited about it. The time then just disappears. The conditions of my hands-on stipulate some things I can't talk about, as is normal. But the funny thing is, I didn't see a lot of those things anyway, because my own curiosity dragged me off the main path and away from any of those revelations. The sign, I think, of a winner. There are those more contemporary Minecraft-esque elements too, of course.
I love the
clearly
Minecraft elements.
using technology and skills honed when
Rock
much
Smash.
of this team worked on Dragon Quest builders. In a multiplayer session,
Oh, I wish that the little character did the Mario up block. It's Nintendo and Pokemon here. Let the animation look like it's breaking a block like in Mario.
much of this team worked on Dragon Quest builders. In a multiplayer session, we needed to get one particular Pokemon from one landmass to another over water.
Whoa,
This
that's
is
cool.
not a Pokemon that can safely swim, nor can it fly. In the end, our team of 4 players
Oh, that's
worked
so
together
cute.
to smash a bunch of blocks out of the side of a mountain, using it to create a bridge the creature could gingerly cross.
Oh, that's so cool.
My point being, building block stuff is absolutely there, and perhaps as the game progresses, such strategy and building will become a more core part of the flow. There's also the Animal Crossing.
Hey, yo! And it's taken from Kirby! Ditto just did the Glock 9000, bro. Now it's gonna be even more sus people about Ditto than I already see, bro. What is going on here?
Which I didn't reach in this build, having a house, decorating the interior, etc, etc. There is clearly more to the loop than I describe, but my hands-on gave me the impression that of all the games that this shares a similarity to, it's that Viva Pinata loop which is at Pokopia's heart. And goodness, it really rather works. In this
Oh my god, you can even make little vending machines and stuff. I want to make a comment too earlier. Look at the background here of all the different buildings. Oh, that is so cool. So you can craft different buildings too to make your environment look really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff that I'm looking forward to this game. That's awesome.
that Viva Pinata loop which is at Pokopia's heart. And goodness, it really rather works. In this hands-on, I wasn't checking how much time I had left or looking over my shoulder to see what the PR was up to. I just slipped into the zone. In my experience, this is almost always a hallmark of a properly brilliant game.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, if you're so locked into where you enjoyed your 1 hour very thoroughly, there is a really good potential from this game, and I really hope so. I feel like there's been a lot of hate lately on the Pokemon series with the recent release of Legends ZA, and I really do want to have Pokemon to get a genuine win. And I've talked about this with some people that are not super involved with Pokemon but love the Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley games, to where a lot of people really are looking forward to Pokopia, even though they're not a big Pokemon fan per se, where they like it enough but they're not like fans of it like somebody like me. So I think this game's gonna do a really good job of like bridging that gap on like getting very casual people that doesn't care for Pokemon too much, but knows about the series to give this game a shot, and fans like me that don't care so much about Animal Crossing but like Pokemon to also like this too. I think they're doing a really good just smash of like a bunch of really good IPs in a very blended and very well made way. And again, like I said, this game has been in development for I want to say about 5 to 6 years now. Would you look at that, bro? If you give developers time to create good video games, would you look at that? You get a really good gameplay loop. Maybe let's stop giving Game Freak 2 to 3 years to build a game and give them longer time to build games for these bigger IPs like Gen 10 Pokemon.
Mechanics I love, mashed up with characters and a world I also have a great affinity for. I haven't felt this way about a Pokemon game since Conquest.
What a shout. I need to replay Pokemon Conquest at some point. I played other games similar to Conquest like Disgaea, but as a kid, I didn't really like Conquest too much because it didn't make any sense to me. But I did get to the finale of that game, but I wasn't good enough to be able to beat the game with a good strategy. I cheesed my way through most of the game, so I didn't beat the final boss. But now I'm an adult. I need to retry Pokemon Conquest because it is a very underrated series in the Pokemon universe.
Strategy crossover with Nobunaga's ambition. That was a serviceable tactical RPG that I loved a little extra because of the way it used Pokemon's world, characters, and mechanics. My hope now is that Pokopia isn't like that. I suspect it might be more. An excellent spin-off that also has that Pokemon secret sauce. Next.
Oh my god, wait, I just realized this. Look at the freaking coat. The zipper has a Ditto face on it. That's so cute.
Sauce. Next month, we'll know if my suspicions are correct. And there you go, that is Eurogamer's preview of Pokopia, written by Alex.
I don't know what it is, but literally every single like first-party Nintendo game has the camera feature. Donkey Kong had it, Pokemon Legends ZA had it, Pokopia has it. Dude, I swear every game has some sort of fancy camera system.
Are you excited for Pokopia to come out? Because I'm really looking for something to scratch that Animal Crossing itch, and I think this might be it. Let me know in the comments below.
And that is facts. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of Pokopia here. I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to play, and we will be live streaming it on my channel. So make sure to go subscribe. Check out the original post from Eurogamer. I'm going to have it in the description down below. Definitely go drop a like. Definitely go watch it yourself so you don't have my yapping commentary while you're at it. But yeah, no, Pokopia looks amazing.